I have been working in the blockchain space for the last 5 years, so I have like a propensity for the technical side of things, but I do not know how to code. I'm all self-taught, and when I started this project about a year ago, I didn't know what an API was. I didn't know what a JSON was. I kind of like learned this stuff on the go, and I've officially launched my first commercial product. I've gotten sales on it as well, so as far as I'm concerned, this has product market fit. It's just a question of, it's just a, thank you. So it's just a question of scaling it now, which I don't think it'll scale too high, but it was more of a project to learn, and the learning still continues to this day. So I'll just kind of like walk you through what I built, and then I'll show you the back end and kind of how it works, and then maybe some of the key lessons that I got along the way. So anyone here, just show of hands, done a murder mystery party or participated in a murder mystery party? We got 2 hands up here, yeah? Yeah. So this all started because my wife wanted to do a murder mystery party for her birthday. So I like looked into creating myself, and I'm like, I'm just gonna buy one of these kits online, right? They're like 30 euros, and it's just a bunch of PDFs, and it's so basic, so boring. We did it, and it was a lot of fun. Me and my friends, a lot of my friends here are involved in the performing arts here, so we're all like drama kids and stuff. And so it was a ton of fun, but I saw how easy it was, and I'm like, man, I think I can do this too. And so I ended up creating kind of like my own prompt in, it wasn't called JSON output, it was just my own prompt to kind of like create these own murder mysteries. And I tested this out a few times. So we hosted parties at our place, friends would come over, we'd try it out. Sometimes it didn't work, but eventually toward the end, like after just a few of them, they were really good. Like everyone was having a really good time. The scripts were really engaging. Like there was always like a really cool motive for the murderer, and like everyone was like really enjoying themselves. So, this was a time where I wasn't working, so I thought, you know what, I've heard a bunch of things about vibe coding. This was about March last year. I'm just gonna go and get like a subscription. I started with Lovable. I don't know if y'all have heard of Lovable. Yeah, Lovable is like super entry level. It's nice because you get a nice like preview window on the side and nicely chat. And I started working on that, which was super difficult at first. It was like at the time where you like say one thing and it changes 5 other things, like creating a new page. Anyway, it was a mess. So, but here we are a year later, and I created this thing. So basically, you can see it's kind of like ChatGPT kind of style, like any AI style. You can like put in any kind of theme you want. So let's do murder mystery at Go Ventures Hub at AI Tinkerers Night in Valencia, Spain. So we're just gonna do that. I don't type anymore. I don't know what you all. So we'll just do that, and then it kind of just goes to a form, pretty basic form. You could choose how many players. I give these fields. These fields like don't really matter. It's all like this. It all just kind of goes into the AI. But from a user perspective, you're like, oh, what theme and setting and blah 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 and accomplice mechanisms, and then you can start the chat. And so this just goes to a basic chatbot. I use like a Claude API in the background. And it's usually like a pretty small chat. People don't have long conversations. I see this as just kind of like a lot, like it just costs me a little bit of money to allow people to chat, and my job is just to convert those people, right? While they like kick the tires and test this thing out. So it usually takes about like 10, 15 seconds. In the background, there's a template that it's gonna spit out shortly. And we're able to see this template here. So you can see here, this is the standard thing. This happens every time. So murder at AI Tinkerers Night at Go Hub Ventures Mystery. So Valencia's tech scene is buzzing with excitement as Go Ventures Hub hosts its monthly AI Tinkerers Night, an evening where innovators, entrepreneurs, and tech enthusiasts gather in the Valencia space to showcase AI products, network, and celebrate the future of technology. But tonight's celebration takes a dark turn when the event's star presenter is found dead in the VR demonstration room. So, intrigue, here we go. So we have the victim, you have the character list, a little bit of the murder method, and you can go back and forth. Obviously, like it's fun to create names for the people that are going to be participating. You're like, oh yeah, Ryan, he's always like the business guy. I'm going to make him the business guy. So whatever it is, and then what you do is you click generate.
That's a great murder method.
Sorry?
That was a great murder.
What did it say?
Delivered with a killing charge through the neural interface.
Oh, wow, yeah, killing charts through the neural interface headset, yes. So if you want the full package, obviously like I charge money for it, and you can like pay for it, and then you get a full package that kind of looks like this. I'll show you one that I've generated in the past. So this was just like a generic one, like a Candyland one. So you get like kind of the host guide. It's got timelines, round by round instructions, really to make it easy for the host. And then you got character guides. This one actually didn't fully generate, but they're usually like super long character guides, round by round scripts or point form, whatever it is, so that every one of your guests can know exactly how it goes. You got evidence cards and detective guide and all this kind of stuff. And then you can share with guests, which is like super helpful because in the past, I just use a Notion document and I just like share that with people. And so now I can just put in the guest's name, their email address, and then I can just hit the send button and it gets them to their email, which has been super nice. I use Resend because you get like a bunch of emails for free. It's pretty low cost, low tech, all this kind of stuff. So the other thing I use in the background is in order to generate this, when I hit generate mystery, in order to get to like the next screen after I pay, what I actually ended up doing is I tried to like code this in the like kind of back end, but it's like a huge package and there's so much text. And so what I ended up doing is I ended up using like one of these AI workflow tools. I don't know if y'all are familiar with Make. It's like N8N, Zapier, all those. They're all kind of the same. I used Make because they have a free tier. It's cheap. And they also had an academy, which is where I learned about a lot of stuff, like what is an API and a JSON. So I created, this is probably the most complex flow that I use as a scenario. And AI flows are just like super useful in general because like if I'm, Dave was talking about like AI agents and stuff like that, and like we're all like used to agents and coming up and stuff like that. But like if the AI doesn't need to make a decision, you can just use an AI flow, and it's just as effective. Like the decision points are already decided. I know what's going to happen every single time, right? So you get the package here, parse out the information. I use Supabase on the back end. Why do I use Supabase? Because that's what came with Lovable. And now I know how to use Supabase. And it's super useful. I mean, I'm sure there's lots of alternatives out there, but like this is super helpful for me. And like in the past, I would be like talking to Claude, like, okay, I want to do this with the database. And he would like spit out the SQL and I'd like pop it in and just like copy paste back and forth. Now I have it hooked up with Windsurf. So I use Windsurf. I use Cloud Code and Windsurf, which I don't understand as well because it's like free basically. I just pay for my Cloud Code subscription and I can use Windsurf for free. Super nice. And I've hooked up Supabase and I've hooked up Make with an API key. So now I can edit my scenarios as well, which is super useful. And like, especially with like ever since 4.5 and now 4.6, it's like so easy to make changes to my website and to my apps in general. So yeah, this is it. It kind of like accesses the code. You can see there's these Claude modules here that actually generate the scenario. I have a parent scenario and a child scenario because it's super complicated and it was really getting big. And then it sends the payload back it sends like a confirmation message, and this just sends actually them to an email to their inbox saying, hey, your mystery's done. You can like check it out now. So yeah, that's kind of like the murder mystery website. Like I said, what's been some of the learnings I've gotten like early on was about the precision of prompts and how important that was. Like I was just going in there newbie, like change the color of this button, and then it would do like 5 other things. And so I started using Claude to help to craft my prompts, and it got a little bit better. And then I remember I found this like this piece of content from Lovable, and it was called like the Lovable Bible. Here, the Lovable Prompting Bible. And I'm like reading through this and I'm like, wow, there's some like really good tips in here. And I'm like writing it down. I'm like, wait a minute, I'm not gonna write this down. I'm just gonna copy all of this and put it into a project. And now I'm gonna say, follow this prompting guide and spit out my prompts. And so I did that and it worked really well. And I started getting like amazing results. I eventually moved from Lovable to Windsurf because it was much cheaper. You pay $15 a month and you get 250 prompts. So that was super useful as well. One of the challenges of this has been a few things. One has been the massive amounts of text that are generated. So running tests can actually be quite expensive, right? So what I ended up doing is like, it took a lot of time, but I had to like break this master scenario into so many different scenarios. Because what if the master guide, like this first step properly generated this huge document, it worked, okay? But then the next step failed. So I can go back and generate it all again, which costs me like a couple euros in inference, or I can break it down into multiple different scenarios. So it was a lot of work to kind of set that all up, but the testing worked really well. Another thing I did that worked really well is I did not wait until this was done to launch it. I just got it out there. And as a result, I would say that like, especially in those first few months, like 70% of people who bought something would email me afterward and go, yeah, this is not working. So it was great. Like I remember one, like this one was so nice. See this little note here? This happened like kind of close to the holidays. It was like someone bought a mystery and is like, after they bought it, they're like, I can't change the mystery anymore. It's like, yeah, it's generated. But she obviously didn't understand that. So I said, no problem. Here's your refund. It cost me, €5 in inference, and I got this UI change here. So it says, once purchased, the mystery cannot be edited. So like that edge case is sorted. I just had someone buy one before the weekend, and there was another edge case there. They decided instead of a murder victim, there was a missing person. And so the AI like didn't recognize it. So like I had to like go through, and it took me like, obviously, you go in to solve a 20-minute bug and it's like 20 hours of work. But I eventually solved it, and I added in like a bunch of different stuff. So now whether it's a missing person or a murder victim, the AI prompt knows to look for that central character at the middle of this plot, right? So it's like lots of different things. So I've kind of like dog fooded this as I've gone. And over the holidays, it was, I was offline for almost a month, and I got 10 sales and 0 emails. So that was like super. So I've only made like a few €100 off this, but I'm hoping, yeah, thank you. So I'm hoping that like slowly I'll kind of figure out the distributions kind of be the hard part about this, but the distribution of this thing is kind of like the next thing to tackle. But from a tech perspective, tons of learnings, super fun, super cool, and not a .com domain, unfortunately. So
Not yet.
yeah, not yet. I do it with .party because I thought that was fun. So yeah, that's my presentation. Yeah.
Congratulations, because it's like the typical tinker view that I had. It's crazy. Yeah, it's an amazing project. And I just had an idea, like maybe to help the distribution, you could use the community of people that like murder mystery, and maybe they're like, okay, I'm going to generate some, and then allow people to buy those, and maybe you give tokens in exchange. Of course, if you got money, that'd be great. But you have this like kind of marketplace where you have, this other party, I'm going to buy it.
I think that's a great idea. One of the first tactics I used to get the word out about this was Etsy. Y'all know Etsy? Yeah, I didn't know, but they have digital products now. So I went online and I saw there's so many murder mysteries on there. So what I did is I just scanned the first 3 pages. I just scraped and I asked the AI what's the 6 most popular themes. I generated 6 of those mysteries, and then I posted them. I underpriced everyone. I put them up for like €5 because I didn't really care. And of course, when you go on the thing, it says, would you like to create your own custom mystery? Head over to this website. Eventually, I got banned because you're not allowed to do that. So I got to figure out some new things. But I agree, like a kind of like a marketplace vibe was probably going to be like a really good way of just getting people excited about their mystery and sharing it and stuff like that. Yeah. So thank you for that suggestion. That's great. Yeah. Anyone else have any questions? Yeah, in the back.
I had a question and a suggestion. The question is, when you were using Make,
Yeah.
you said that it became expensive because as you were testing it, the next node obviously faltered. There's no way to pin your data in Make?
Pin my data? Yeah, the thing is that what happens is this is where the webhook is, it lands, and so this is always going to be the entry point to the scenario. So like, for example, this happened the other day, is I was messing around the scenario, it broke, and it got basically up to like this point here. It didn't load this one at the back. Can you see here, just at the bottom corner there? This one like right here. It didn't create the detective scripts and evidence cards. So it created everything until there. So in the past, it would have been super difficult because I had to use this thing called Postman, which I had no idea what that was, but now I know what that is. I used Postman. I had to like generate all this data and huge amounts of text. It was really complicated and really hard. Now with Claude Code, it's super easy. I just created a different scenario. It's called Detective Script Generator. It's only 5 little things. It gets the payload. I told Claude Code, hey, check out this customer. All this stuff is done. Can you send a payload to here and generate, and it will generate just the detective script and evidence cards. And so that has kind of like minimized the amount of text that is generated. Yeah.
And then the second thing was, you said when you had people buy it, they would have to email it or fill out their information to get everybody to have
Yeah. There's like a share button when you are done. You can put in people's names. And I don't know. I don't have the. I could probably look for the email. I usually delete them, but you get an email. They get an email with it, and it says "View your character information," and it just opens up this beautiful page that you can flip through, and you just kind of do it on your phone. So you're like at a party, and you can, look at your script and see what your character is, and it works very seamlessly.
That's
Yeah.
a good exponential tool too, because you do a murder with 20 people, you got 20 emails, leads, they enjoy the murder.
That's true.
You gave them, an automatic newsletter.
Absolutely.
For free.
Absolutely.
It's great.
You could do that with QR codes.
Yeah, you could probably do it with QR codes. One thing that's really important with the character scripts is that they need to be private, because one person's the murderer. So you don't want to know, and I've really worked a lot on the actual IP of this. So like, it's really like, it's tons of fun. Like, you have past relationships with most people in the room. So there's some people that you like, but there's also people that you don't like. So right when you come in the room and you see like that guy's name tag, you're like, oh, hey. It's like one of those things. So it's like really fun. It's like super fun. So you got like a little bit of history, and everyone has secrets that they're keeping as well. So like secrets that kind of like could be revealed and could like implicate you in the murder, because you might have a motive and all this kind of stuff as well. So that's kind of going on in the background, yeah. Yeah. Cool.
Amazing.
Thanks, everyone.